So we have a situation, and we're going to talk about the Math Pac. I'm sure you guys have heard recently that it has been announced that Andrew Yang will be receiving support from, I believe his name is Will Haler and the Math Pac, and they're looking to invest up to $1 million in Andrew Yang's candidacy here in the next quarter. And we're going to talk about my thoughts shortly, but first, I want to touch on the concern that I have. Okay, the concern that I have is different than everybody else's concern. The concern that I have is that I'm seeing a lot of people, specifically people who have a lot of influence, start to distance themselves. You have the combination of the Medicare for all, followed by this, followed by the comments at the West Washington Post forum or whatever that venue was, where he had mentioned that he'd had a conversation with Joe Biden about potentially being a VP. Did he say that? He might not have said that specifically. He may have just said he's open to whatever. And that concerns me. But here's what I want to say. I don't care. Okay. My concern with Andrew Yang was more that he wasn't trying to win than anything. I was really starting to worry that he was just like, okay, I'm not gonna try to do anything that's gonna affect the field. I mean, he's made the comments regarding not running third party. He also said that like that he didn't want to do anything that would affect the field or keep Trump in office any longer. So he ruled out a third party run. Um, I still feel like he's not specifically targeting demographics which are pretty much made for him to just go and capture. I don't know why, but whatever. And he's kind of straddling the fence. But here's where this all comes together, right? Um, I was I'm good. Gave too much money. I so I'm in my Halloween costume, and I'm getting ready to head out with the wife for the evening. And my costume is I feel like he played me. Ooh, I understand, man. Listen. I understand how you feel. Okay, I understand that this is gonna make a lot of people question his motives, but I want to be clear, right? Not really a super political dude. Personally, I'm not super into politics like that. It was something I was into at one point, but I've just been more focused on getting money than anything. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But Yang specifically brought me into this race, and I thought that, I believed in what he's saying, and ultimately his position is still different from everybody else. Okay, Yang has from the beginning. I'm going to address that in a second. Yang has always been a pragmatic dude. He's never come out here and jumped out the window saying wild things and trying to excite different bases on false campaign promises. You can clearly tell that he doesn't want to lie to you, no matter what he says. Even when he was asked about the Math Pack, he was given an opportunity to say whatever politicians say. He's just like, look, I don't know them. I hope they really know what they're doing. I hope they're doing this in good faith and they support my platform. But he can't control what they do. The site says Medicare for all. He's looking to adopt a Canadian Australia. I don't work for Andrew Yang. I don't work for Andrew Yang, okay? Um, but he does support Medicare for all, okay? Again, this is I've already done the research on Medicare for all on his plan specifically, and he is more concerned about doing what it's going to take to actually make it come to fruition. His whole strategy is based on language. If you look at the field, you got Medicare for all, you got Medicare for America, you got Medicare for people who want it, or some other thing like that. There's just all these different versions. It is that specific language that is kind of the problem, okay? It's kind of the problem with the whole Medicare for All platform. Yes, there is see, I wish I had my data, but it's something like the numbers for support of Medicare for All drop depending on the language that's used. And then even still, people are not clear on how that would actually work. Like they're not clear on what private insurance companies would be, whether or not they'd be used or not. It's still very vague. And in fact, you'll see the candidates themselves are not clearly explaining it. I don't know why they're not. This is why you go back to Elizabeth Warren not saying taxes are going to go up. They don't, I mean, to be fair, Sanders absolutely did. He did say that taxes would go up, but everybody doesn't understand the concept of Medicare for all. Everybody doesn't understand the ramifications or what will actually happen. Point is, Yang is trying to win. Yang is trying to win, okay? He's trying to win. He's got to say what he's got to say. He doesn't want to lie, and he's not. He's not lying. You're just saying healthcare is a predatory aspect. Yang agrees, but he still does not want to hurt innovation. He still points out the fact that many people come from foreign countries that have universal health care to come to America to get procedures done because we simply offer things that they don't have. He's not trying to close that door. And he also doesn't want to kill the market. He's a capitalist. Yang is about preserving capitalism, okay? You just do Bernie's plan. I feel you. I feel you. But this is what you have to ask yourself. Do you feel comfortable with Andrew Yang going into a closed room, a closed door meeting and having a conversation about Medicare for all on your behalf? Because that's really what you're asking. That's really what this is about. And based on everything else he says, I feel comfortable with him. Do I agree with everything he says? Absolutely not. I absolutely do not. There are lots of things I disagree with him on. But the way he's arriving at his conclusions makes me feel like, you know what? He's going to walk away with something that's fair. He's going to walk away with something that makes sense. He's going to walk away and I'm going to feel comfortable that he got some of what I wanted and he did as much as he could to get me everything, but he's putting us in a position to go further. And that's really what this is about, man. Yang is about trying to make everybody have he wants a more engaged political class, a more engaged a citizenry who's actually able to like, hey, you know what? It's been 6 months. We talked about something. It didn't work out the way we wanted it to. Let's go back to the drawing board and fix the problems. It's not simply turn it over to the government and let them figure it out. One second. I'm going to come back and check these comments. Sorry. I was on a... I think Medicare for all just became a political term. The ultimate goal should be universal health care, which should be multiple. I mean, if you go back, they'll point out, man, all these other countries, or many of these other countries, still do have a private sector. It's not just it's not all public. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I get it. I get the concerns. I get people are like, but the health insurance companies are going to still try to, profiteer as much as they can. I get it. But I also think it's interesting. He can't run on automation or he can't run on robots are going to take all the jobs and then say, I'm going to completely destroy the healthcare industry to create Medicare for all. I mean, he can, but I'm just saying, like, that's kind of like, yeah, I thought you just identified that problem. Why would you then create it over here? His strategic and thinks long term with the pregnant. That's what I'm saying, man. And I've been saying that consistently since the first video I've ever done on Andrew Yang. It's about the way he thinks more than anything. Even if... Yes, dear. I'm online.
Okay, can you cut this little.
You guys are about to get a peep show.
No, just cut this little piece in here.
1 second. What's that?
Cut these little scissors and cut this little piece inside.
Okay.
But don't cut anything.
Spandex. It's crazy.
This is not spandex. What is that? Velvet?
It is velvet.
Yes.
Okay, I'm done. I think.
How does it look? Can you see it?
It looks good.
Did you get the edges out?
Yeah, I mean.
I feel an edge.
Okay, all right.
Listen, Jussie.
Okay. Okay. I think once you tie it up, it'll be all in. It'll be fine. Once you get it on, get it on.
It is on there.
No, I mean the top. Cover up everything, and then I'll cut it afterwards. No, it looks good. It looks good, for real.
Everything's covered.
It looks good, babe. Seriously, I promise. It looks good.
Okay, what are you tying me
Tell her
up
it looks
top?
good.
No, don't. Tie me up top. You gotta get the bottoms on.
Have you seen my shoelace tying? I am not good at this.
Oh, you aren't. I mean, it needs to be tighter than that.
Tighter than that? Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have.
All right. Oh.
All right. They're good. You're good.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Okay. Okay. Boom. You got that little long string hanging down there.
Will you cut it?
Cut it?
The string that's hanging.
Okay.
With it.
Okay.
Come on, babe.
All right.
Don't
It's cut.
fucking even go.
It's cut.
Is it?
Yes.
You can't see string. What's this? I feel string.
No, that's not it. That's
What is this?
that's just a little hangnail.
Nice.
Okay. Don't pull it. All right.
All the way at the edge. I don't need any strings. Cut the other side.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm inside.
You're inside.
I'm inside the garment. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Read a book. Okay. Let's see what you guys saying. Have a flyaway on your wig too, Richard. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm working with what I got. 2.9 people work for private health insurance. 35 million people work for health insurance. Will feel the impact of Bernie's change. If the government can give people UBI, the next will be UB Medical. We need some effing price control on drugs. Yang's plan isn't too. Yang has addressed. See, Yang's got the price control on drugs. Okay, Yang just doesn't want them to stop making new ones because they're like, you know what, this is the most money we can make. So what's the point? Yang's like, look, we're gonna leave a private sector. They're gonna say, okay, well, the government's making our same drugs. Why don't we make it so that there's less, what do you call them, side effects? Because that's what they'll do. I mean, they'll come in and they'll change. I think, okay, so he did the Q&A. He did the 10-hour Q&A. And he was talking about how they change additives so that they can maintain their patents. Like they'll be, I don't know what the term limits are. Listen, I'm not in the medical field, but you know, say it's 2 years, they'll come up to, they're at 18 months and they're saying, okay, we're about to lose our patent or whatever. So let's throw some extra additives in there so that we can maintain our patent on this drug. Like this is what they're doing. That's the current system. Healthcare is a total sham. I don't disagree with you. What are these 2.9 people? Is there a better chance of easing into informal trying to get Bernie's full plan? Well, even Bernie's plan is not immediate. It's not like he becomes president and the next day we got Medicare for all. Okay, there's still a transition period. There's a transition period regardless. And you know, that's the thing. We're so caught up as far as the major conversation. We're so caught up on how we're going to pay for it that we never get to how long it's going to take to actually transition into this actual plan happening. This is not an overnight thing. So Yang's definitely in line. No, he's not for completely getting rid of private sector day one. I get it, you know what I mean? And I get the concern there. But like I said, I feel comfortable with Yang negotiating on my behalf in that meeting. There you go, Gilly. I didn't have my Subway sandwich with me, but anything worse, less than Medicare for all is a plan not worth it. I listen, I respect your opinion. NLM, it's all packaging. That's what I feel, man. Listen, this is what we're talking about. If Yang has to, everyone calls Yang a Trojan horse. Maybe this is the Trojan horse. Maybe he has to say what he has to say to become elected, and so that we can get what we want. I mean, The problem with Bernie's plan is how will he pass it? I don't see how he can do it without making major compromise. It will just end up being like Obama. If you don't change it, you don't get it passed. Listen, I feel he's being fair, okay? Like, it's not like Yang is giving you something that's just so radically different, and then people are like, well, that's not the same thing. No, that's not what we're talking about. He's like, look, I'm going to give you 94% of what Bernie's promising because I think I can actually make that happen. Maybe I can get the 100, but let me aim for 94. And I get the whole position of, no, go strong. But I think Yang's being realistic. You know what I mean? I mean, we're still talking about a huge change to the healthcare industry, which is one of the biggest industries in this country. It's a difference, man. The French guy. There you go, Tim. My key issue: wealth inequality, not Medicare yet. Look, I don't think Yang's addressing wealth inequality. Listen. I am fully of the understanding that Yang is in the position where he's like, look, let's just have some trillionaires and bring the floor up so people can do a little bit better and sustaining capitalism for the next 5,000 years or whatever. I don't think he's changing the wealth gap. That's not what I'm seeing here. But is that still better than what we have now? Yeah, it is. I mean, it just is. Like, the billionaires aren't going to stop being billionaires regardless of who the president is. That doesn't change. They're just going to, they're going to adapt. I mean, they got all the money in the world to make sure that they keep making all the money in the world. There's nothing that's going to change that. I like Yang Zhang's general approach because he's the only one who doesn't play identity politics. He is trying to introduce policies that will benefit everyone regardless of income. Absolutely. Freedom dividend will help the middle class more. That's true. Of course, change the social, have money, homeless will less. Yes, if it will make his policies easier to pass compared to most other Democrats. Listen, there's a reason why Yang does well with independents and Republicans and conservatives and Trump voters because he's more aligned with them than probably anybody on the stage. You know what I mean? Like, he's clearly pro-business. There's a reason why his There's a reason why minimum wage will why he's not he's like not all in for minimum wage increase because he knows it's gonna really hurt. It's gonna really hurt small businesses. I mean, so I came across this article today about how Target, basically, remember Target raised minimum wage to $15 in all these places? Well, now all their employees had their hours cut. They've significantly increased the speed in which they're trying to automate jobs. And now people who were getting people who were getting 40 hours and making whatever they were making, now they're making $500 are now getting 26 hours and making $400 because they're cutting wages to compensate for the increase in minimum wage. Like, they're not gonna, and then plus they lose benefits because they're not maintaining their hours. Exactly. Look, Yang's trying to, everything Yang does, he's like, okay, what's gonna happen if I do this? Everybody does not do that. Some people are just like, this is what I want, period. Great. But you got to think about how they're going to counter it. After $1,000 minimum, he will raise limited wage. He can't say too much. He will change everything. That's what my point is, man. You just gotta trust him. You just gotta trust him. If him taking super PAC money is a concern to you, fair. But he told you from the beginning that he wants to completely change the campaign finance system. He's in conversations and speeches and on different platforms. He's talking about overturning Citizens United. Like, he already told you what he's going to do. And at the end of the day, is he not better than everybody else who's up on the stage? Like let's just put everything aside. Who isn't he better than? Who isn't he better than? It's not even his super PAC. Somebody believed in them, so much they look. The fact that somebody would create a super PAC for him means a lot. Okay, you know, as I started to say before, my concern was that he didn't want to win. Him taking super PAC money means, you know what, he believes he can win and he wants to win. He's not simply saying, you know what, okay, like there's no honor in not winning. Like, do we think he's going to be like? Is he going to stick around for the next term? We've had that conversation. Do we want him as a vice president? Do we care if he's somebody's vice president? I mean, I don't really. You know what I mean? Like, take the PAC. You're gonna get the money, whatever. Like this is not a problem for me, man. This is not a problem for me. Zam, what up? He's following the 40 laws. Always say less is necessary. Oh, that's how that came back to the costume, right? Remember? Okay, so y'all remember the whole the Juicy Smouye situation that happened in January, right? If you go back to January, you'll see that Cory Booker and Kamala Harris both chimed in on that. And you know what Yang did? He said nothing. Do you know why? Because he knew better. Yang is not trying to be divisive. Look at his entire campaign. He's had opportunity after opportunity to jump in there and say some wild thing. He's calm, cool, and collected, man. He knows better. Justice for Jews. I gotta win before he can change. Exactly. You can't change nothing from the outside. This is not. Look, man. Don't try to Jay-Z Andrew Yang. Okay, this is not the same thing. The money from businesses. If you get all business money immediately, all USA business will man against him. That's a problem. Old policy. You can't. Let me see if you guys have something. He doesn't have a choice with the MSM. Ignore that, and that's why we talked about that the other day, man. Look, he needs the media, okay, and he needs the money. Like he needs the like. What do you want the man to do? You want him to win, or you want him to have a position where it looks good, it sounds good, but I can't get anything done because I didn't get elected because I refused to take this little bit of money that would have helped me. He's done a lot with what he has. Honorable. I'm not here for a good show. I'm here for the dub. All right, I'm trying to win this thing. I mean, you see what Trump's doing. Remember how y'all was telling me, or how the field is telling me, how the news is telling me that Trump's out of here. I get this same post every single day on Facebook. 35 senators are gonna vote against, are voting for impeachment. Oh yeah, so why is Trump still up there? Why is he raising over $100 million? You know what I mean? Like, he ain't going nowhere. Trump ain't going nowhere. 48 Laws of Power. Man. Fantastic book. Yang has a hard time dealing with progressives. Yang's not a progressive. Okay? Like, he's not. Yang don't care about that. Yang's a capitalist. And if you go through all of his policies, you're going to see that he's pro-business because he's a capitalist. And, you know, he said the private sector is fantastic at innovation. That's what he's trying to do. Look, man, y'all need to spend some time looking at the, I know this look crazy. Look at that fourth industrial revolution. You'll see what we're talking about. The fourth industrial revolution, I do got to fly away. Come on, fam. That fourth industrial revolution, it ain't America that you're gonna see when you search for that, okay? You're gonna see all these other countries across the world that are doing a lot of things that we're not doing because we're behind. Because we're wrapped up in things that aren't that important. And he's trying to catch up. He's like, look, we slipped up, we got a late start, but it's not too late. Let's get it together. UBI is a band-aid. Let's focus. We can get these businesses back to innovating so we can progress. Like, we got a consumer culture. What are we going to do about that? How are we going to get people to pay for goods if they don't have any money because we automated all the jobs away? He's trying to sustain this thing. He's trying to build. Can't do that if we're wasting time. I like the line that he uses, Fourth Industrial Revolution doesn't care what party you're in. That's a good line. That's a great line. but it doesn't translate, I don't think, because we don't even know what's going on, man. We don't even know what's going on out here, man. Like we're so lost, we're so behind. We just he is not saying we should stop automation, update the policy to embrace. Exactly. Exactly. You can't stop if you stop automation, you're slowing our ability to catch up with the rest of the world. So we stop automating, we put some type of tariffs or whatever on or we put all these policies in place. Like I heard somebody say we're 8 years away from fully driving cars. Are you crazy? We have the internet. We got cell phones. You think they can't make a car that drives by itself? I got a drone I can fly out in the sky right now. I got to take my drone out. I fly it all across the world. You think we can't? We can't make a car that drive by itself? Come on, man. It's not that complicated. I mean, I can't do it, but I mean, we got Elon Musk over here throwing up solar panels and putting people on space and like, come on. They can do a lot, and they're being held up because of regulation and all these different things that the government, these hoops, the government's making them jump through. They can end all that. What happened for 4 years? Yeah, China is already way ahead of us. But that's the thing is we're so behind that I think Americans wouldn't be able to really stomach knowing how far behind we are. Like if we really just put it side by side, like they just did like a whole town hall on automation or a town hall on the fourth industrial revolution to really get people up to speed, their heads would explode. Like what? What do you mean? You have self-driving trucks on the roads here in Arizona. Really? Everything he needs to go to. Well, okay, so that's kind of another thing I was talking about. My concern right now isn't the pack. No, no. My concern is a lot of the progressives are backing away from Yang right now because of all of these different positions that he's hitting us with back to back to back. The people who have supported him, these people who have, kind of a major following or whatever, they've kept Yang in the conversation. They've been fairly open to him. But this now is what they're using to say, okay, well, we gave Yang this love all we had up until now, but now we got to separate ourselves. Now it's clearly Bernie. And that's what I'm seeing over and over and over. Now it's clearly Bernie because of this, the pack. So it's annoying. Because I bet the mainstream media starts covering this. I bet the mainstream media says, oh, look, Yang and what's his face? Biden taking the PAC money. So I think we need to, well, not we. I think I'm gonna start. Well, I know I'm about to start attacking $15 an hour minimum wage. That has to happen because I think there needs to be a real conversation about that. Yeah, healthcare is a big one, but I think that language is really such a huge component that all that support that you think is there for Medicare for all kind of changes when the language starts to change a little bit. People don't understand how super PACs work, and Bernie has them too. Yeah, actually, before I even went live, I really tried to find any information on Bernie's super PACs. I know that he had the nurses. What's it called? I was about to say nurses for Yang. It's called nurses something. There's some nurses PAC that he had in 2016 that they said they were going to continue to fund him. I imagine he still got some money for that, but yeah, I'm trying to find some information on Bernie's super PAC because I've seen that statement repeatedly, but I cannot identify anything that states that. Um, and yeah, the money, yeah, and that Haley guy who from the Math Pac is an establishment Democrat. I mean, listen, I can't defend that. I don't know why. I don't know why that person would be defending or would be supporting him. I mean, again, I don't know the guy though. I don't have a history of him. I mean, I just know what the titles are that he says he's held, or they say he's held. I don't know. I don't know what the inner workings of the Democratic National Committee are. So I don't know. But yeah, it being an establishment Democrat, is that hair real? Nah, bro. Yang 2020 50. I like that math. I appreciate that. I'm gonna screenshot that when this video is done. $15 minimum wage. We ain't working in Seattle, Washington. Yeah, but like I said, Target, man, ask Target employees, man. They getting $15 an hour minimum wage. They're not thrilled with it right now. As an entrepreneur, saying that applies here. You only fail if you give up, and you only succeed when you reach the point where that person would quit and you keep going. Ooh, Nitro with the bars. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Finally.
Like my squirrel costume?
You look great, babe. Can I show the internet?
Don't show my face. I'm just kidding. Oh, you cut this?
You told me to.
I'm modeling.
What does the fox say? Bernie's people are all about. What are you, a squirrel? Squirrel girl? Bernie's people are about the feel good, confronting the facts they encounter. Yeah, listen.
You can show the internet. Show my
I
costume.
did.
I get really good.
I did. All right, she wants to show y'all her costume. Check it out. This is my beautiful wife. All right, you ready to go, babe?
Yes.
Okay. Burners act like Bernie's never took a super PAC. Yeah, look, man. I'm not trying to hurt Bernie's campaign, but yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of start pointing out, like, look, man, he ain't perfect. All right, he's just a man. It's okay. It's okay to do what you got to do to win. I'm not mad at you. I'm gonna hold you accountable for what you do when you get in office. What you have to do to get there.
Horrible advice.
Tell these Bernie people the wealth tax is illegal from consultation. 1 January, was it? Yeah, it's weird that people are saying that Yang's saying that they won't make money. They won't actually generate the money they're trying to make off the wealth tax. Isn't a good enough excuse. It's like, what? That's the reality. Why are you complaining about that? Like, don't you want policies that work, or you just want policies that look good on paper? I don't know, man. There's a UBI pack that's giving 52 away for 1 year winner. Okay. I'm Barcelona Yang, however, when I step back and look at the big picture, I still support Yang. Yeah, man, listen, Yang ain't perfect. I told y'all Yang ain't perfect. I told y'all that no politician is perfect. We're all gonna have ideological differences, man. Like, he comes from a different background than me, and he doesn't know who I know, and things are just different in his world, and that's fine. But do I feel comfortable with him walking into a meeting and negotiating on my behalf? Yes. I feel more comfortable with him doing it than Bernie. I mean, look, man, Bernie's track record ain't that great. Like, yes, his consistency is on point, but what has he accomplished? I mean, look, I'm not trying to knock the man down. He's fathered the movement, but what's up, man? Like, where are all these policies that you? What's up in Vermont? Why is public option better than single payer? I don't think it's a matter of better. I think it's a matter of Yang doesn't want to kill the innovation from the private sector, and that's the only way to do that. Nurses, National Nurses United. That's right. All right, where's that? Okay, I'm gonna try to find. Hey, Serpent77, can you tell me where you got that from? Because I know of the National Nurses United Super PAC, but I cannot find that in 2019 anywhere. So if you can let me know where you got that from, I will try to put that together with the stuff from 2016. So many people have limited salary, but they work hard and they have 2 jobs, pay a lot of tax, blah, 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 but you don't need work. What did Vince say? Wealth tax is crazy. How to listen? If I had $100 million, you wouldn't get any of it. Okay, I promise you that. All right, I will tell you this right now. Let me get 100 million. You're not gonna see it. I will leave the country if I have to. Self-driving cars only operate reliably in simple environment. Look, if self-driving cars are going to save lives, right? They're going to save lives. They're going to operate nonstop. They're going to make companies a bunch of money. They're going to be super efficient. Why not just build their own road? Like, let's just take all these people out here right now. Let's set up our federal jobs guarantee. Let's create a special road just for the self-driving cars. And boom, you've solved your problem. And now you don't have to worry if they're not 100% reliable because there's not going to be any people on those roads. Thank you, Gilly. Yes, it's cheaper to build their own roads. Like, look, that's how this thing works, man. We're trying to run businesses. We're trying to do the thing that's going to, if there's a little, you take an L every once in a while, so what? They're going to run nonstop. That alone is going to make them so much money. They're going to run nonstop, bro. I have to go to sleep. I have to take a break. There's laws against people driving nonstop. Are you kidding me? They put these self-driving cars out here, these self-driving trucks. They're gonna be bigger. They're gonna carry more gas. They don't have to worry about all the regulations that cars have to deal with. Oh, that's the ideal situation.
Yes. Oh my God, it's 11:22.
Yeah, baby, I know what
Oh
you.
my God, I'm ready.
Okay, all right, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, man. Look, stay strong. Yang is not perfect, but he's the guy who you want negotiating. It is humanity first. He's told you that since day one. This is a no-brainer, okay? This is a no-brainer.
Okay.
Stay the course. You guys have a good evening.